Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Ben.
And we are AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we are watching Attack on Titan, Season 1, Episode 16. Last episode we got a lot of information. It was honestly one of my favorite episodes to date. We were taken to an old castle, which was the old Scout Regiment headquarters, I think. Mm-hmm. Where we kind of had like a little meeting together, learned that Levi likes things clean, learned that Levi was an underground criminal, I believe, right? Famous thug in the underground.
Yes.
And that was interesting. A lot of information. During like the talking in the basement, I believe, they were around a table with Aaron. They were kind of asking him questions, and Aaron himself was surprised to know that he understood that the trigger was self-inflicted injury in order for him to become a Titan. Then he was like, how do I know? You know, we thought, and we touched on, like, their memories will help you, or, you know, that could be the answer for that. We got introduced to a couple people, Petra, Olvo, Gunther, and Eldo. Quick going over their KDs. Petra, 10 kills, 48 assists. Olvo, 39 kills, 9 assists. Gunther, 7 kills, 40 assists. Eldo, 14 kills, 32 assists. I love that they keep track.
Me too.
I want to know how many kills Levi has.
Will Aaron get his own count now that he's kind of joined Levi's squad?
Maybe. I feel like I have to go back and count every Titan Mikasa's killed. You know?
Mikasa would have a really good count.
Yeah.
Both for assists and for being the one that takes it down.
Yeah. We got a lot of Hanji, and I really like Hanji. She named these two Titans Sonny and Bean after a cannibal tribe 25 years in the past. We also got a lot of information from her, like Titans shut down typically as night approaches. The smaller ones seemingly shut down for a longer period of time. I compared them to plants because I'm an idiot. Photosynthesis, you know. And then we learned that I guess the trigger for the turn for Hanji was learning that Titans' heads were like really light, like way lighter than they should be, which led her to discover that not only their heads are lighter than they should be, it seems like all of their body parts are, you know, everything that makes up a Titan is.
That changed her. She went into joining the military out of hatred and then has almost stayed and become passionate about basically learning like what the hell are these things. Yeah,
and then they were short-lived because somebody killed them.
Yes,
and it was a deliberate plan, including 2 or more people. They killed the Titans and got away with ODM gear. Mm-hmm. Did we think it was like the military police?
My suspicion was that it was someone not in the scout regiment.
Yeah.
And that it would either be like the garrison or the military police. But I feel like it would definitely be, I mean, how confrontational and like the military police definitely didn't hold the scouts in a high regard. They were like, they're all weirdos. And so it's obvious they would not agree probably with Hanji keeping Titans for experiments.
But then we got Captain Irwin saying, what do you think the enemy is?
Right. And so then our other
assumption
idea was that it was more that there's a higher up organization or
they don't want us to learn
that knows things about Titans that they don't want everyone else to discover.
Correct. Like to keep their society the way that it is.
Yes.
They don't want any form of change. And if it was anything else, like you could make the argument that, they don't want them to learn about Titans because they could potentially find a weakness. That seems a lot less of a solid argument than if they actually knew something about them and are actively trying to keep people from finding that out. Like
it has to be something that would so monumentally change what
and they're
people
so
are
sure.
thinking,
Yeah.
how people view the situation, the society, the predicament. It would have to be something that would kind of start people questioning and doubting things. It would have to be something like that heavy.
Definitely. And something that they are so sure of and so sure that it could be discovered from testing or from experimentation.
Right.
I
find it hard to believe that Hanji would be the first person ever experimenting on Titans.
But I mean, maybe it's her interest in them and like her like incredible devotion to it that would lead her to do something that somebody else who had experimented on them prior wouldn't have gotten to.
With maybe more disgust and hatred, they wouldn't discover it.
Yeah. Maybe it was the fact that it was Hanji that got people scared. I thought that maybe taller the Titan more emotion because it seemed like only the taller one reacted to pain in the eye. And
that was Bean.
Yeah, and Bean also needed less like sleep, I guess. Right?
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good
more energy.
recap. But like going forward, I don't know, man. We like have a mission. I don't know when we're going to get into it. I don't know if we're going to go on like an investigation right now and play some like Scooby-Doo detective shit, like to try to figure out who killed the Titans, because part of me thinks nobody's really going to give a fuck other than the core group.
Other than, I feel like once they start trying to ask around, I feel like people would be like,
why do you, like,
it doesn't matter.
They're just Titans.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, just go get some more kind of thing.
Yeah.
Next time, whatever.
I'm excited to watch more. I'm really interested in Erwin now. Like that last line, he had the whole secondary plan that we don't know that he was talking to the other member of the Scouts about.
That there's some other story
motivation
he has that he's not actually telling.
And so I'm very interested in his character because even though he's so good at putting on a face, and so good at that act that we saw in the court and then saw talking to the other Scout member, he broke a little bit when he saw the Titans being the two Titans that were murdered or killed, I guess. I don't even know. And, he broke a little bit and said that to Aaron, who he does not know well. So it's I want to know more about him and his reasoning. We thought that maybe he got Levi from the underground because he doesn't trust people who are,
I could see that.
I guess more in the military or right-minded.
I mean, he's definitely, I'm sure, had his hand in the selection of whoever's in charge of the squads. So obviously he has a hand in maybe even training, mentoring, picking Hanji, Levi, anyone in the group. I mean, just think about Aaron sitting down to eat with the Levi squad. None of them seemed scared of Aaron. A few of them didn't see Aaron transform, obviously, but they still knew, and they still fight Titans all the time, but none of them, thought less of him. They didn't treat him like a monster. Obviously, Levi brought up, oh, you're gonna have to sleep in the basement, but Levi's reason was, what if you do it in your sleep, man? Or, what if it happens? It'd be good if you were in the basement.
It was completely the opposite treatment of the guards who were outside of the cell in the basement in the court.
Yeah, it was just we have to be safe because you don't necessarily know how to work this yet or what's happening. We're just going to be careful.
It was from reason and not just disgust and fear.
Yeah, reason and not just disgust.
But, so, that already, bodes well for me, at least for the Scouts and, how, their morality is, I guess. I'm liking them.
Yeah, so I think Erwin definitely must have had some story, reason of really wanting to help Aaron, especially before going into court and all that. And now we know that he has some story and that's what he's telling people. I feel like, and then obviously this kid he doesn't know very well, he obviously whispered this very specific thing to. It's he's trying to, he obviously picked to support Aaron for whatever his goal is. He almost thinks Aaron will play a part in whatever his story is.
It seems like he needs Aaron to play a part. Or he needs
Aaron to play a part.
It seems like this is what he needs to get what he wants. And I don't know
no clue what he wants.
Exactly.
But I can tell he wants something.
That's interesting because obviously the mission is to retake an area. The mission is to get Aaron's dad's basement open, but I like that makes me so curious as to know what there could be that he wants.
Right.
It
I don't think it's as like some surface things I could think of as, oh, maybe his family's house was there or something, and he wants them to be able to retake that area because of nostalgia and or personal belongings or something. That's like a more probably surface level thing he could be thinking, which I don't think is the case.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a lot deeper rooted in maybe the structure of the military, because he was like, oh, my story's about the military police. And I think his name was like Nick. Was like, oh, that's not your complete story. That's not all of it.
Mike, maybe?
Mike.
He's the one who smells people.
Mike is the one. Who's Nick?
I don't know who Nick is. I have Niall.
Mike.
I think it's Mike. But that's a good point, though. Like, I definitely don't agree with you that I don't think it's like a surface level thing. Like, there has to be something. I can imagine, like, it's like maybe it's something from like when he was a kid and he spent his life getting to a position of power so that he can try to do something. I could see that being a character, like how that's written. I just don't know what it would be. I obviously don't think we have any information to go off of other than military. He could just
it be purely military. Like maybe he wants to change the structure of the military and grow in the ranks of it or something.
I don't know. I'm ready to watch this episode though. Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet. My little brother watched the entirety of season 1, I think, in like 2 days, and I'm so jealous.
I love that while we're watching it, we have family members that are watching it.
Yeah.
Like, we have my dad watching it too, and he's trying to stay at pace with us so he doesn't spoil anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, can you guys please watch more? We're like, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing an investigation.
Oh, they're looking for the culprit.
I wonder how they narrowed that down. Damn.
Oh.
How do you feel?
Oh, look at that fist clenched. Oh, this is the day they decide. I feel like now that's probably a really tough decision.
Fuck, dude. I'm so fucking upset we didn't even see him die. We just saw his half-eaten body. Do you remember this?
I do. Jean has the ability to be a leader.
He does. He really does. It takes somebody who can feel things to be a great leader.
But he looks so scared.
Hell yeah, Sean.
He says it with such like fear, but also determination and sadness and all of these different emotions.
That kind of surprises me a little bit. I thought Annie would do a survey. Does she not want them to die? You can't like hate that. No. That's a completely legitimate reason.
Like, what Jean even said, like, not all of us are so willing to die.
What do you think about Connie?
Maybe. Something might be the trigger. Is there a reason they're on patrol?
I don't know, but I want to ride a horse like that so bad. Like, have my cape flowing in the wind.
No, it looks pretty badass.
Where's Mikasa?
That's a good question.
That's what makes him such a good leader.
Of course I don't want to join. Are they presenting why you should join each one or something? Like a talent show? A job you can't do unless you decide for yourself. I like that.
Bro, I love that, man. They wrote him so well so far that they could put him into being like one of the best written characters. It is like a talent show. Very true. Name dropped him. Now he drops the basement knowledge. This man is so strategic.
Me too. Another reference of him having some other motive or story.
But it's crazy that Armin's able to... No, maybe a motive in saying that in this situation.
Yeah. I don't think it's to get as many recruits as possible. Like, he's looking for something, I feel like.
Do you think he's looking for like a reaction of something?
I mean, he kind of looked like he was looking at their faces.
Damn.
Literally laying out that most of them will die. Are you willing to offer your beating heart for humanity?
What a fucking line, dude. Holy.
That is all.
That was awesome. If you were in the crowd, are you staying?
He needs people that have the guts and have the motivation.
Will make a difference.
It'll make them safer in turn to have a team that's willing and strong, and they're all passing him. Look at all of them. This is like beautiful in a weird way. Oh, his legs want to move.
This song.
That is not a lot.
Holy shit. Who stayed? Hell yeah!
What?
This music is making me like emotional, dude.
I probably would be Sasha, like crying right now. Look at all of them. So is Annie the only one?
I think so, which is really weird to me.
Balding. Do you see the little balding patch?
New favorite character.
不思議だったのは緻密な陣形でありながらエレン・イェーガーの配置が示されていないことだった。
Is that a security reason?
Maybe?
俺たち特別作戦班はここだ。随分後ろなんですね。この布陣の中で最も安全。2馬車よりも手厚い待遇だ。
Interesting that the highest skilled people are the ones who are the most protected again, right? Or still.
志願しなくに送るための試運転だからだ。お前、あの時の団長の質問の意味が分かったか？敵は何だと？
He knows about it.
先輩方は分かったんですか？
いや、あったと言えば嘘になるかもしれん。しかし俺に
もしかしたらこの作戦には他の目的があるのかもしれん。説明するべきではないと判断した。ならば俺たちは行って帰ってくることに終始すべきなのさ。ちょっと同期と話してきてもいいですか？
さっさと行けよ。
Look at this guy. He's asking permission. I would have just sprinted over.
しばらくぶりに会った気がするぞ。
精神的苦痛を受けたとか。
ねえよ。
She still has the scar that Aaron gave her, right?
いつか私が叱るべき報いを。
まさかリヴァイ兵長のこと言ってんのか？よ、エレン。みんな揃ってんのか？まさか調査兵になったのか？他にここにいる理由あるか？
Facts.
兵団に行ったのは
John. Oh no.
まさかお前
And he doesn't know
I
Marco's
know,
dead.
I know.
今なんて言った？死んだって言ったのか？
誰しも劇的に死ねるってわけでもないらしいぜ。どんな最後だったかもわかんねえよ。あいつは誰も見てないところで。
Which is like the worst part. Off screen.
I can't tell why they wrote that way.
Maybe because it's harder for them to get over because they didn't even see it happen.
That's one of my like reasonings.
They're all getting their
up.
capes.
Oh my god.
Look at that. Pretty sweet. The blue light and musical in this episode. Oh, stop.
God damn it. He was the sweetest boy. The one character with freckles.
お前巨人になった時、ミカサを殺そうとしたらしいな。
違う。エレンは早く。
Big fly.
頬の傷はかなり深いみたいだな。それはいつ負った傷だ？
本当らしい。巨人になった俺はミカサを殺そうとした。
らしいってのは記憶にねえってことだな。今まで知らなかったし。
Correct.
それを掌握する術も持ち合わせていないと。
ああ、そうだ。
お前ら聞いたかよ。これが現状らしいぞ。勝ってる。俺たちはマルコのようにエレンが知らないうちに死ぬんだろうな。
今ここでエレンを追い詰めることに何の意味があるの？
誰しもお前みたいにな、エレンのために無償で死ねるわけじゃないんだぜ。知っておくべきだ。
Honestly,
We
he's
should know what we're
100%
dying
right.
for. Okay.
いざという時に迷っちまうよ。
Be certain.
俺たちはエレンに見返りを求めてる。自分の命に見合うのかもな。だからエレン、お前本当に。
I think a lot of them joined kind of out of that, like
Yeah.
little glimmer of hope of knowing him and trusting him.
Jean is like one of my favorite characters ever.
I know.
Aaron had a moment just like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
いよいよだ。お前たちの成果を見せてくれ。開門始め。
I strangely feel hope.
進む。被害調査を開始する。
57.
57th. I love how
What
his
an
face.
interesting way to draw
drawn, yeah.
Erwin. He's normally so like kept
Yeah.
and like polished.
Yeah. I really like that. Okay. Where do we start, dude? I guess chronologically, just to keep our
Yeah.
right? Just to make sure we're a little organized with it.
So they tried to figure out if it was one of the trainees, it did not appear that any of them took their equipment without permission.
Okay, there you go. Why did they go? Did they go to the trainees and only the trainees? Did something lead them to just suspect the trainees, or
Maybe it was easier to check the trainees without causing an uproar.
yeah?
Because I feel like if they went to the military police or some other branch or higher ups, you know, in the military and were like, let us check your gear, they'd be like, you're accusing me? You know, there'd be more like a...
Who's in charge of the investigation?
Oh, shoot. Were we told who was in charge?
I don't think so.
I feel like we were just told there's an investigation.
Because I was thinking if it was the military police who were in charge of the investigation, then they could obviously rig it, right?
Yeah.
But interesting that we have no, I guess, knowledge or basis for who is suspected, and it doesn't seem like they're delving deeper into it, right?
I think I remember when we first met Jean and he wanted to join the military police. My use for him as in a plot device sense was that he would join the military police and he would basically show us what it was like there, and maybe Aaron and him would meet again, and maybe they're going to use Annie for that now. Maybe they needed to put someone on the inside, especially if we don't like the military police right now and the military police don't like Aaron and they want him dead. Now we kind of have like a friend of Aaron's joining them.
I definitely think it's really weird. Like, because if it was any character other than her, Mikasa, I think Jean too, because like seeing where his character is going, I was like, he has to be in the Scouts, right? And Armin, like, I was like, okay, they're all scared, right? Like, I wouldn't blame them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess that does make it a more interesting story,
like her
right?
reason isn't necessarily like fear, obviously. I feel like there's a reason, like, that she wants to survive, and I think it's deeper than just wanting to, like, oh, I want to live. Like, I think it's a lot deeper than that.
Like,
like, wanting to live is deep, but, like, I think it's, like, there's reason to want to live and not just wanting to your body to survive.
I totally get and respect the idea of not wanting to die with, like, for no reason.
Totally.
Like, I think that, like, her lines were, if someone told you to die, would you do it? And then she said, then why not make your own decision? I think that is totally compelling. I think that maybe later on, there's no way we say goodbye to this character forever because of, like, how, like, her introduction stuck with me, like, from the beginning, when she fought with Aaron. So I think that maybe, like, in the future, like, if shit hits the fan somewhat, maybe she comes in to save the day, changed her mind, maybe like Brock when he came in to save Ash from all those Talos in Pokemon. But, like, so either that, which is, like, a maybe to me, or if shit gets so bad that there's, like, the Titans somehow make it to the, like, most inner wall, then she, like, goes into action, and then she realizes that there is a reason to become a scout, or there is a reason to do different.
So I was wondering, so I think what she said in this conversation is really, like, more just announcing something she's already shown signs of. Like, if someone told you to die, would you do it? Remember when they were about to start fighting against the Titans? Mm-hmm. And she asked, like, the leader kind of if they could make their own judgments if things went wrong. So I'm like...
She's been looking out for herself since the beginning.
It's obvious that she's looking out for herself, and she's going to make whatever decision is right for her and her goals.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, whether it's just surviving or she has other goals. And, you know, maybe the military police is the more, like, the branch where she could make her own decisions and not have to, like, put her life on the line. I don't know. Maybe it's stricter and she'll have issue with, they're going to tell her to do something and it's not going to fit in with her ideals, her goals, her plans.
Mm-hmm. I keep seeing these parallels, like, that the most skilled or, like, the people, like, I don't know, who have a lot are the ones who are protected the most. Like, and Annie, like, seemingly was fucking nice with it. Mm-hmm. And I guess she's never gonna really use that unless we get to a point, like I had suggested earlier, that she feels motivated to. I don't know. I think it'll probably be like a long burn, right? Like a long payoff.
Yeah. I think we'll have time in this show to get to know the other branches a lot more. Obviously, we're just now starting to learn about the Scouts and the Survey Corps and stuff, but I feel like they gave us a character we know well in the garrison with Hans, you know. We have like relationship with him. He's kind of almost like an uncle now to the main three. And now we have a person, like an in to the military police that we trust, that we know knows the main characters. And I feel like that'll open that world up to us as well.
I agree.
Of understanding what their job is, what orders they're given, their ideals.
I mean, like, fingers crossed, if any situation comes up where we need to be in front of the court again, we potentially have somebody on the military side who would be in our favor. We had the, like, sales pitch to join the Scouts.
Yeah, that was
Question
interesting.
for you. Do you think it's an order of sales pitches? Like, Scouts, like, military, like, or garrison? Or do you think it's like, oh, the only one who needs to give a sales pitch is Scouts. If you don't, then you can just decide whatever the fuck you want to do.
Basically.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like it was that the only people that needed to try to persuade was the Scouts. They were the only participants in this talent show for votes.
Yeah.
I think the other if people were sold on one of the other two, they were sold. You know, they weren't going to join the Scouts, but you know, maybe they'll pick the other two because they're obviously safer. Well, the garrison wasn't like super safe because the walls got broken and Titans came in.
Okay, is this translation? If we can reach, I thought of this in the moment and thought I read it wrong. If we can reach that basement, we will find a clue that will end the century of Titan rule. He's like, are you trying to sell these people on it? Because that's a straight up lie, right? I mean, I guess it's just trusting somebody else's word.
I can't see him as a character that lies. I see him a character of having knowledge and selectively choosing when to like blow people's minds and when to not tell them something as a distraction, as like a device. So part of me feels like he has an inkling of what's in the basement. Or he really trusts that there's something in the basement.
What did Aaron's dad say to him about the basement? Like, what was
get to the basement, go there?
Did he say in like clear words, "This is the this will"?
I think he said he'll understand.
Yeah.
Their memories will help.
So wait, were you suggesting that Erwin had knowledge?
I am suggesting that he seems to be the type of character who wouldn't say things unless it was something he was drawing upon to say it, and not just like a lie.
So do you think it might happen to do with like his knowing, or we assume he's sketchy about like the higher up government?
He's just started to be a little. He's shown us he's a little. I don't want sketchy is not the right word because I don't think he's like evil. I think he probably has good intentions, but he's obviously like suspicious in some way because he knows things that he's not letting other people know, and he's planning things that he won't let other people know.
We know the government, like Darius Zackley. We know that he made it clear that Aaron's dad was missing, right? So that lets everybody know, Erwin included, that his dad was wild, and then he knows that it was his family's basement. Do you think Erwin knew Aaron's dad?
Well, that's okay. So if Darius knew of Aaron's dad just existing and that he was missing, we wondered how these people didn't necessarily know who Aaron was and or his dad. Except, didn't the guy that trained them when they were trainees, didn't he know Aaron's dad?
He did.
Maybe Aaron's dad treats or used to treat some of the military. So yeah, Erwin very well could know Aaron's dad. Maybe he's heard something cryptic from someone else before and that's what he's drawing upon for this. He just doesn't, like, I could be totally wrong on his character, but he just doesn't seem like the type that, like, pulls out, like, complete bullshit lies.
Erwin?
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, maybe he fabricated it slightly. He dressed it up, but I mean, he could have dressed it up purely from just knowing that Aaron said there was a basement. He needed to get to it. And trusting Aaron.
So, because you brought it up, I needed Grisha. That's not his dad's name, no?
It might be. The only name we have for Aaron's dad is Aaron's dad.
Grisha, today your son became a soldier. So that's interesting that we know for sure that there's a connection to at least somebody
in the military.
But I don't know, like, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, people higher up in the military knew Aaron's dad, right? And if he knows Aaron's dad, do you think Aaron's dad, before he went missing, mentioned something to...
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe he's calling upon not just hearing... It, like, think back to when Aaron told them about the basement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think I saw much shock on Erwin's face. I mean, he also is a very well-kept kind of person. I don't know if he would necessarily show emotions, like, purely on his face, other than that last scene in this episode where he was, like, screaming. So it could just be that he was very just poised, or it could be that he wasn't entirely shocked. He wanted this for Aaron before even meeting Aaron.
Do they still have the key? Erwin and Levi?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they have the key.
I think that could, like, lend itself to the idea that that Erwin might know more about the situation. I don't know. It's definitely, like...
Well, the key was given to him by... So think of the key. If Erwin has met Aaron's dad before, Aaron's dad kept that key on his person, right? He might have seen the key before.
That's a really good point.
If Aaron's dad had it on his person all the time and he was meeting these people, maybe he had it around his neck. Maybe it was always, like, hanging out of his pocket. I don't know how he used to...
I feel like I could totally just be misremembering it, and Aaron's dad did say something about how this could fix everything, right? Like, because Erwin is saying, we will find a clue that will end this century of Titan rule.
I mean, that could just be saying that anything we learn here could help us and will help us in the long run win. So maybe that's not technically a lie if he doesn't know anything.
I think it's what the Titans really are, was the quote in episode 10.
I think so. I think it really was, like, you will understand what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Erwin just...
assuming?
Saying this based on what Aaron's crazy, janky memory of seeing his dad, like, what happened in it?
Yeah. That's an interesting, because he's so certain that this will...
And Armin was so surprised that he mentioned the basement.
Yeah. So, who are these guys' names? Rainer Braun? Which one's he?
Rainer's the blonde one.
He was the one who I said seemed like a good brother or something, right?
A good brother?
Yeah, like a big brother.
Well, both of these were the ones that tried to help Aaron figure out the ODM gear.
And then I don't know do you have the other guy's name?
No.
Damn, I feel like such a letdown. What's the point in us writing down if we don't write down every single thing?
We need to write down every second of the show.
I know. Darn.
I feel like you don't have it.
I definitely don't have it.
Because Thomas died. That was the name
I have an
that
X
I saw.
next to his name. It's so sad.
You mark, like, whether they've died or not in your notebook.
Okay, after 3 days of training, ceremony is held. We know that. However, only the top 10 can enter the military police, so the choice is limited to the... okay. Yeah, no duh. So the choice is limited to the Survey Corps, the garrison. So the only person who joined the military police this time over was Annie?
Or maybe they changed the top 10 because so many people in the top 10 joined the Survey Corps.
That wouldn't make much sense to me.
It doesn't make much sense to me because also none of them are dying. So it's not like they need more people.
But I know, again, it's back to that theme or like the idea that the most powerful people seemingly
are the ones
trying
kept safe.
Yeah.
I get it
Yeah.
from like if you were playing a board game or something, that would be your strategy, right? If you needed to get these integral, really strong people that would really play a part in the winning of this battle overall, you'd try to get them to the location. You would obviously bolster your forces around them. Like, even though that sucks when you think about it as real people instead of like little pieces on a board game.
Man.
I loved the blue light in this episode.
It was really good.
We were just talking through a scene that obviously had an example of it, which was during the Erwin talking about the Survey Corps. And all of the people walking by are like friends, our core group of friends. And then we had it again later on.
60% in 4 years clearing path for army. Like that's how many people they lost, the scouts.
And didn't they say they've lost that whole path now?
Yeah, because they have to go a different route. But like, so was their goal? Was their goal all along to try to retake it?
I think so.
Okay,
I think even Erwin like said that.
Okay, that's just a lot to ask for just humans.
I think I'm pretty sure he said that during his speech.
The 57th tour, I guess you'd say, right? Shallot, best character in anime.
Loves to eat hair. Watch out.
You'll get a bald spot. I said something like, what is the reason they're doing what they're doing with Marco? Because I think it can totally be the reason of this is a grim fucking world. Anything is unpredictable. Not one person and not one person's life is so special that it even needs to be captured on screen. Like, that's just what to expect in this world. Or there's a reason we didn't see him die. Right?
I think it's leans more, like my opinion, I guess, is that it leans more towards the first one. I think it does a lot to our characters that none of them got to see what happened to him. None of them know. Yeah. None of them were there to comfort him in his last breaths. None of them were there to help him. None of them know how it happened. They don't know if they could have helped. Like, what if it was a scenario where he was alone and if one more person, one of them was there, they could have killed the Titan before it killed him or whatever happened to him.
Like, the only reason I even suggested the something else is because literally spelling out he died without anyone knowing or anyone seeing. And like that, I agree with you. I am going to say like it's probably the thematic reason and to get that message over.
I mean, Jean uses it to Eren as like you don't have memory. Are we going to be that for you? That you're not going to know that we died, basically.
Yeah. And
that we're all just going to die around you and you're not going to be able to save us.
We'll die just like Marco. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Without Eren ever realizing it.
You're right.
It seems more like painting the picture of the gruesome situation.
No, you're right.
But also...
I like... From I've watched other shows before kind of way and like storytelling perspective, I thought maybe, and I think maybe I won it a little bit because I've really honestly loved Marco.
I mean, what he said to Jean about Jean's
that's what I was about to say.
Stuff.
The flashback like legit nearly had me in tears because even though we didn't get too much of a character, his impact is still like around.
He's to me, like obviously Eren stirred things in Jean, but I think Marco is what sold it for Jean. I think even with like obviously Marco's death was like the push over the edge, but what Marco said to Jean was really what got Jean even thinking that he had a role that he could play that was...
You are very right.
To really to really be a part of this and not just kind of hide.
I love Jean. He like when
Such a good, well-written character.
When he
I
was
was like, ugh, when we met him, you know?
when he was talking to Aaron and he was like questioning him, I was like, yeah, hell yeah, like this is what needs to be done. They need to know every
Right.
fact that they have so they can operate to the best of their abilities, so they can believe in what he has and what he has to offer. Like, it made the most sense. And I, not for once, was like, why are you asking him that?
I mean, like, I almost think about it in the same way, like, Erwin gave all the stats of how many people were probably going to die. It's like the same thing. Go into it knowing more, and you might have a more successful outcome because people know what they're getting into. At least to some extent. Obviously, there's things that you can't even begin to imagine. But for the most part, you have resigned yourself to knowing what your fate could be. And I think that it's a good parallel between, like, Jean wanting that and Erwin trying to give a little bit of that to everyone before they decided.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's gonna suck. Like, right there, like, obviously, Erwin saying, yeah, most of you are gonna die. That sucks. It's a sucky situation. This is a sucky thing. And then Jean's conversation was also a sucky thing. It was, Aaron won't even realize we're gone. Do we even know if he can control this? Is this worth dying for? There's also sucky situations.
I did not get 1 ounce of feeling that he was saying that to, 1, be a dick.
Right.
Or 2, to try to make people second guess themselves.
I don't think he was trying to, like, put seeds of doubt there. I think he was, I feel like that conversation was for Aaron. I think he was trying to tell Aaron that, like, all of them, like, they need to have communication. They're all there, and they're all real people who don't want to die, and they're counting on him.
Like, he's that friend in the room who's like, there's a fucking elephant in the room. Somebody's got to talk about it, or there's going to be this weird energy. Like, we got to just get it out in the open and figure out what we're going to do. And I love that. When we were learning about, like, a little bit about the formations, we learned that, like, what are we called? The Levi squad, the special squad?
The special operations.
Special operations squad, are
like
even
the Levi
are
squad.
are even better protected than the supply carts. That's the line.
Crazy.
Does that mean we're not even gonna see Aaron as a Titan?
Honestly, you just asked a really good question because I have no clue. So, like, you said right at the end, like, this feels kind of hopeful. Like, the music was, like, ramping up in this hopeful, like, we're about to see an epic adventure, battle, successful mission. Like, it really felt like humanity's gonna take it back, you know?
Yeah.
And you just brought up, like, such an amazing point. Like, are we even gonna see, like, we know that the Friends, all of the cast of Friends are basically probably on the outside.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones that are going to see the action. Are we going to follow them for a little bit?
That could be compelling. I mean, that's how this episode kind of set us up for, right?
If they're not going to see any action, it's not going to be very interesting to watch Aaron just kind of, like, ride a horse for 5 episodes, since they like to do, like, episodes
2 things.
in 5 parts, 8 parts.
It makes sense that he wouldn't be on the front line, since this is kind of like a trial, right? It's like a short go out. It's a short expedition. They're going out quick and coming back.
Also, I don't think they would want to use his power unless, like, absolutely freaking necessary.
Number 2, is Aaron gonna, if he knows that his friends are in danger,
oh no,
is he going to fucking...
Levi even made a point to be like, you always have to stay 2 horses lengths behind me or something.
We just saw Jean, like, say,
all
like...
Our friends.
No, what did he say to Aaron? Like,
that, like, he's counting on him?
Yeah, like, that he's counting on him. So it's like, like, that look in the eyes, if he saw, like, Jean about to get wrecked, or, like, even, like, a Titan was going for them, and, like...
Well, we know if he saw any of his friends in that situation, maybe even any person. I don't even know if it's, like, specific to friend.
It's going to be an interesting dilemma if and when it comes up.
That would be really hard for Aaron as a character to not get up and go.
I was super shocked that they brought up that other people heard what the captain had said to Aaron.
That was really shocking. We did wonder, like, there's people around, right?
But, like, I can't believe they brought it up. Nobody understood. Fucking Olo. They wear bolo ties. Maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
It may be a lie to claim we understand everything.
And then he's
But
like,
I think cut off. I kind of want to know what he's thinking.
maybe he was gonna say exactly what Gunther said.
You think?
Maybe.
And then, like, they just cut him off before he could.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
he
mean,
had.
it's, like, a
Maybe he
little bit
actually has a
comedic.
good idea. I mean, he's good at
Oh.
killing Titans.
Yeah, but he's a Levi simp.
He is a Levi simp.
He literally was like, I'm gonna get a matching haircut. I'm gonna try to kill as many Titans as Levi. Like, yeah, he wants to be Levi.
It's possible that this mission has another goal.
What could it
But
be?
the commander
What is the other
decided
goal?
it was best not to reveal that fact to the soldiers.
Even these soldiers, even the elite soldiers don't know.
Well, okay, look, obviously they're not going to the house, right? This is practice. What would be the reason for a practice run that is deeper than it's a practice run?
Knowing exactly where to go, even if things go wrong.
Go, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Exactly where they're supposed to go.
Like, they're not going all the way to Zingachina.
I know, but like practicing maybe Eren staying within the group, how well they move together, pacing.
Maybe it's like a gauge. Like, maybe he's trying to see how Eren would react in these situations.
How can Eren keep up? How fast can they go? I don't know. There could be a lot of things they're testing out, or
I mean,
could be even just like going on a jog before you run a race. Or
so
something.
he mentioned something that he was like, within 4 years, most of you will be dead, but then the remaining people will have a higher survivability rate or survival rate because they're so experienced. You know, that begs the question: would you have an army of 100 people that are just like, you know, they're trained, but like, you know, you don't really know the specifics, or 10 people who are battle hardened, are so skilled, you know what I mean?
10 people.
So
I feel like when you have a group of people who are not aware, or that could actually lead to more deaths and more casualties.
So, and that could get one of the people who are more trained killed. Yeah. So
they could try to save the people that aren't as experienced.
As grim as it is this like weeding, like kind of testing the new recruits maybe, or being like, okay, well, if there are people who couldn't do this, we wouldn't want to take them on like the big time mission.
I don't know if it's thinking like that, but it could be that. Even though that sounds like horrible and awful, I think it's more like a board game. More like these are pawns. We're not thinking about them as people necessarily.
I'm just trying to think of a reason for it being like a test run. Like, because obviously there could be a deeper meaning, right? There could be another reason, but we don't know.
You think the whole mission's a test run?
I
thought they were saying them being out and about in like the fields looking at the map was their test run.
No. They're going on a short expedition and then coming back. Like we just saw all of us leave the gate. That is to go on a short expedition and come back before we go on our big mission. Yes.
Why did I think that we were going on the big mission? So what are we doing? We're just testing the waters?
That's what I'm asking.
What's the point of wasting people if you're just doing that? I didn't catch that.
Like, am I right?
Well, I don't know if you're right because I didn't catch it. I was, for some reason,
they're getting their formations ready. Obviously, they're not in formations yet, right? They haven't left yet. They haven't done anything yet. So we should focus on getting there and back, which implies that they haven't gone anywhere yet.
Well, I know they haven't gone anywhere yet. I thought this was them testing their horses and with Eren, like their little squad, who's in the center of the formation. That's all the training for today. They were training.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the test training.
No. What they're going on now is a short expedition and then they're returning. And then after that, they're going to Zig and Sheena to go to the house.
Is that why they think there's some other point to this mission?
That they're
Because
not just
they're
going?
not actually
That's
going
what I'm
to the
saying.
house?
And what would that other
okay.
point be? Because that doesn't make sense to me. Like
Training. That's the only.
Is there a
go
place that we don't know in the short expedition's route that they're trying to get to? Is it training? Is it to try to like weed off the people who aren't as reliable or talented? Is it like, I don't know. We said something about motive in telling people this, right? Or when talking, because there was a scene that looked like him looking like trying to gauge people's reactions or something.
Mm-hmm. He looks kind of down to the like right corner of the screen.
It could very easily just be I don't want you if you're scared kind of thing. That could totally be it.
Well, I don't know if it's I don't want you to being scared and being unable to fight through your fear and act are different. I think that you can be scared while still being able to muster up courage to act with good timing.
Yeah.
Being scared and having fear doesn't have to hold you back, but it does hold a lot of people back.
Like he looks down here, right? Mm-hmm. And then makes
it's
like
almost like he furrows his brow a little bit. It's like he's like, is he trying to give the impression like he's like bearing into their souls a little bit or something? Or is he actually looking at something right now?
Okay. Crazy Ben time, right? So if he does know more, like it seems like he's a paranoid lad. Regardless if you're correct in that paranoia and there's a reason for you to be paranoid, or if you're a conspiracy theorist because there's a reason to be one. Does he think, if he has knowledge of the basement, right? If he has, or obviously has some knowledge now, like he was told it, but if he's skeptical of the government and doesn't really trust a whole lot of people, and maybe that's why, like we said, maybe he got Levi from the underground, could he be thinking that there are people in the crowd right here who already could have known that information? Maybe
moles,
that there are plants, like moles from the military?
They were thinking someone in the trainees might have been the one that killed the Sonny and
That's
Bean.
what I'm getting at.
It could also be that he thinks that someone's definitely going to try to murder Aaron too.
But like, so he gives this look, like he's like, seemingly, I'm interpreting this as he's like trying to gauge reactions. Mm-hmm. If he is gauging reactions right after giving the information about the basement,
it was purposeful he gave that information. It could
be
that.
Maybe like he purposefully said that the damn it. Maybe he purposefully said that this would lead to their victory because it wasn't exactly true, and the person in the crowd maybe had different information and was like, I don't know. I take this as him trying to gauge a reaction.
He could be lying. He could be showing all his cards because sometimes that gives someone an upper hand.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting.
That's interesting.
Mikas is pissed at Levi, and then we saw Levi who was like, you know what I mean?
Mikas is pissed at anyone who says anything to Aaron that she does not like.
That short guy. Sheesh. You don't mean Captain Levi, do you? And then he's just over there like with his horse. He's like, oh man. God, I love Jean.
I do think it's interesting that Aaron was. Part of me was surprised that he was allowed to go say hi to his friends, which is weird.
Yeah. Well, why?
Why was I surprised?
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't it make sense?
Part of me thought that, like, part of his training as a dog by Levi, he would be on a strict leash. And he would have had to ask Levi's permission or something if he could go say hi to them. Or maybe, like, too much fraternizing, you know?
Yeah. I like that he asked. I wouldn't have fucking asked. I should have asked.
I mean,
but
he knows... It seems like he really knows his kind of place right now and his position in the world. He's trying to be responsible and compliant because he knows that'll ensure the best future for him and possibly even humanity, but also his survival. So
usually in my just to give scale, in my notebook, I'll like for an episode of a show we watch, I'll start like up here and get to like maybe here. So like this much info. For the past few episodes of the show, it's been like 2 or 3 pages. Like I'm writing down so much for this stuff, and it like it's so intensive, man. I don't know. There's so much going on, and I love it.
There is so much going on.
Love it.
Like, we have to literally go chronologically to unpack the whole episode and talk about, like I've said time and time again with this show, time and time again, we're only on, like, episode 16. Come on, like, Anna. Wow. That they're very specific in dialogue with the show.
Yeah.
I think they give a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of hints, a lot of things that we wouldn't realize until we're, done with the show and we look back. I think they're very specific with language, and I think that's why it's so fun to unpack it.
Exactly. I think that like there has to be a lot of foreshadowing and stuff because of how specific they are with language. And the only way that I could be enjoying the show more than I am right now is if I didn't have to trust like captions. Like if I knew Japanese fluently. Yeah. Because then I feel like I could get more of the intent of the author's writing.
I don't know if I truly even trust dub. Like if it was the English.
Oh, for sure.
Obviously, it's still translated, and you can never.
It's a game of telephone.
You can never get exact, And I feel like,
without understanding Japanese fluently, this is the
hear
closest
it in
we can get.
Japanese and understand it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of we only studied Japanese for a very short period of time, but when we were learning, there was a lot of poetic nuance almost to how they describe things or how we translated it. And I always found it it was difficult at first to try to like think of something that felt more poetic and to like English where it was kind of like boop, like cut and dry way of saying something.
Oh man. We've been given like one of the reasons why I feel like there has to be so much like in each episode that like whether it's foreshadowing, whether it's just like attention to detail is just like this like the lore. Like I'm gonna give the example of a song in Ice and Fire, like Game of Thrones or whatever. Like a story is gonna have foreshadowing in it, like a Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, when the world building is so massive, detailed, and just good. Within like 4 episodes, I already felt like the lore and the world building of the show was so insane that I have to listen to every line and go back and read every line because I want to know more about the world.
I feel like I've seen a lot of shows where it's kind of obvious that the author didn't necessarily know where it was going before starting. And this feels like the author knew exactly where they were going before starting.
This feels
they knew how to give little foreshadowing.
Okay.
It's either like someone wrote the whole story and then went back and changed the dialogue so it was hints, or they knew exactly, like they had an outline.
No hate to that kind of stuff because like that, like Dragon Ball Z, like that's like how that story was,
it's fun when it grows and it develops on its own into its own being.
But this legit does not feel like it was released episodically to like, it feels like it was completed. Like it was full out completed. And he like the entire story and then released the first like chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God.
One last question to leave you with. When do we all get our personal accessories for our uniform? Our bolo ties, our ascots. Mikasa has a scarf, so she doesn't need anything. But I feel like that might be like a rite of passage kind of thing. Like maybe after they survive their first mission, they all get to have a little accessory.
Okay, you want to hear something really grim?
Oh no.
It's not that grim.
Do I?
No, it's really not. Maybe they earn them through losing people. In the original anime canon for Dragon Ball Z, Bardock, Goku's dad, has like a red bandana in his character design, and he got it from having a rag soaked in one of his comrades' like blood. And maybe they get those like memories or accessories. Like Mikasa has a scar from Eren, right? Maybe like if one of them loses a like friend or like a squad mate, then they like take something of theirs and like wear it like around them as an accessory.
So then Levi wears a handkerchief that someone he knew used to use.
That or to just like protect himself from dirt because he's a clean freak.
Oh, yes. It could be just to protect himself.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have. My throat hurts. I've been talking too much.
We did talk a lot, yeah.
All right, thank you
Okay.
guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.